80s shoujo manga turned retro modern anime Banana Fish is a lot to describe, and also a lot, period. It's the kind of word that can cause strong, complicated, and mixed feelings of all kinds. But I don't want to go there. What I'm absolutely sure of and what brings me joy is that at its heart they are Ash, Eiji, and their incredibly compelling relationship. They are simultaneously an old married couple and just dumb boys who love being with each other.
何がおかしいんだ今の話人にしない方がいいと思うよマフィアを一発で仕留める君がかぼちゃ
2歳の年齢差がものを言うのは15年前までだよ
そしたら思い切りいじめてやれたのにな
It's a classic opposites attract, bringing the best out of each other with two different words colliding sort of situation.
これが怖いか
まさか
Ash is an American gun leader, a fighter, and a survivor in every sense of the word. He's also very much an 80s action hero, trying to break away from a life of crime. He's a good boy. His most notable original design is based on actor River Phoenix, and it captures that good old magnetic, intriguing bad boy kind of energy. He also really has that classy vibe, like Greta Garbo without the teeth.
She got Greta Garbo, stand outside. She's got Betty Davis eyes.
Meanwhile, Eiji will be like the ingenue in those movies. He's a Japanese boy with a heart as big as his hair is puffy. And boy is it puffy. His original design is based on 80s heartthrob Hironobu Nomura, whose image also seems to lean on a certain puppy eye, appealing innocence. Eiji is a sweet normal boy living a normal life in Japan, until he comes to the States to learn the true meaning of be gay, do crimes. Ash and Eiji's relationship is, let's say, without labels, or rather, it transcends labels.
Don't call it love, 'cause that ain't enough. Just tell 'em you're my everything.
It's interesting to look at the way the whole thing is framed and the romantic tropes it uses. Like the superhero's girlfriend with the whole kidnapping and the saving of the love interest from the bad guys. Or bringing up a past love interest that the protagonist couldn't save to convey fear that they might not be able to save their love from danger. On a more sexual note, there's the gun as a metaphor for something else, and the intimate shaving. It's also clearly in conversation with Western classic gay movies, and there's also how multiple scenes in the anime incorporate gay as rainbows.
Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly.
Ash and Eiji's relationship is open enough for you to either read it as an asexual romance or as tension does not act on in front of our eyes. So follow your heart. These alternatives reminds me of Toya and Yukito's relationship in Cardcaptor Sakura, who curiously enough come from newer source material but have an older adaptation. The portrayal of these relationships shares some notable similarities, like the close friendship or the suggestion that they are about to kiss through framing and movement, ending on an intimate embrace instead. There's some very interesting Ash and Eiji content on outside material from mangaka Akimi Yoshida, and they have certain elements that set them apart from other more questionable content you may or may not find around the internet. There's physical unity, connection, and belonging with the use of all black clothes that literally unites their figures, and one of them, Ash is directly looking at us with a pinky ring that apparently used to symbolize association with crime, as if he were making a statement to both his wearer and the audience. Points were made. Notably, Ash is either taking church with Eiji letting him, or Ash is letting Eiji take church as a sign of trust. There's the act of shaving while looking into each other's eyes as a very classy way to convey tension, longing, and intimacy. There's also an illustration of the two wearing what looks like traditional wedding tuxedos, where Ash looks at Eiji and holds 9 red roses, which by itself are classic symbols of romantic love and desire. And 9 of them basically means I want to spend my life with you. On the anime side of things, there are details like the gun as a metaphor for consent.
ちょっと持たせてくれないかない
いよ
ありがとう大事なものを
アッシュが他人に銃を触らせるなんて初めてだからな 前に酔っ払いが銃に触ろうとして指を吹っ飛ばされたくらいだ。
撃ってみるか？
え？
撃たしてやるよ。撃ちたけりゃ。
いいの？
もっとしっかりグリップを支えて。
There's a way they change where exactly Ash finds Eiji when he wakes up after they fall asleep together. And of course, there's a kiss. The kiss in the manga happens for plot reasons, and it gets mostly framed as comedic relief, but the anime sees that as an opportunity to make gay things gayer. There's an emphasis in softening Eiji into it and how it affects him in a falling under a spell kind of way. There's the high that's meant to come with a good kiss in creating an atmosphere of intimacy between the boys by separating these dudes' reaction from what's happening rather than letting them take some attention away from it for the comedy. Another interesting addition is the shot after the kiss, which again emphasizes the intimacy and also the trust between the boys, presenting them as equal. The reasons I hate the ending and everything that came out of it, which is a massive disservice to everything that's good in this story, and also massive is longer than toilet paper, so I'm not gonna get into it. But what's most relevant here is the relationship between Banana Fish and classic gay films, and just, you know, that gay stories. Illustrations with Ash and Eiji reference iconic shots from My Own Private Idaho, Maurice, and My Beautiful Laundry.
Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch! You don't talk me that way! Get out of here!
Banana Fish ending is practically a not-for-no reprise of Midnight Cowboy's ending. There are feelings of a beloved bringing comfort before passing away, dying before reaching a desired destination, tragedy juxtaposed with the morbid mundanity that a total stranger passing away can bring. Someone is experiencing a terrible loss, but life goes on for the rest of the world and all that. The story in Banana Fish and these movies are pretty different, but they all share notable similarities. Besides featuring a blonde boy and a brunette, they all have relationships that are based on a strong friendship. The relationships that are referenced don't exactly end well. With the exception of My Beautiful Laundry, which ends on a more hopeful note for these boys. It's also the one relationship in reference that's explicitly sexual, and where it being interracial is part of the plot. With the exception of Midnight Cowboy, all these films were released during the 80s and early 90s, which is when the manga was being serialized.
Ash! よかったね。おめでとう。
I wrote about this show while it aired extensively because apparently I like suffering, and something that I noticed is that the attention to detail is insane. For example, Eiji is linked to the freedom of birds with emphasis on the flying, and also to blue birds that symbolize happiness in outside material. But in the show, this little round boy is linked to Eiji and then used to foreshadow his kidnapping in the next episode. But what's more interesting is the use of colors and lighting to represent Ash and Eiji's connection. Blue and pink are connected to Eiji, and red and the decay of green to Ash and his rotten world. Because of this connection, green combined with Ash Gang are also used to frame Eiji as the center of Ash world. Red and blue are also shown in Ash's heart in the first ending and often in their clothes. Rainbows are present when Eiji pole vaults over a wall, capturing Ash's heart for the first time. It's there when Eiji first accepts the gun that Ash offers him. When Ash tries to convince Eiji to go back to Japan for his own safety for the first time, ending the scene by telling him that they are equals instead. This is also when Yut-Lung fully realizes how close they are and plots to use Eiji to get to Ash. It appears again when Ash tells Eiji the opposite, letting him know that he wants him to stay by his side. It's also in the second ending, which heavily focuses on Ash and Eiji. is there again, surrounding New York in the final episode, while Eiji says they'll meet again. By the way, the anime encourages more ambiguity in the ending, with details like this and the official website's character relationship chart, which turns the picture of everyone who's dead gray, but Ash is shown as alive, and the line that connects him to Eiji gets bolder and thicker, which is then reinforced by official art showing them going on dates. I don't even care if they're trying to sell me shit. He's alive. I don't want to speculate too much, but it's clear to me that the anime staff had their hands tied, and in pretty weird ways at times. Why else will the word forever disappear from Eiji's lips when Ash asks him to stay with him, and land in the dark wall behind Ash, referencing the heart that unites them in the first ending? It smells of having to sneak in, something you really wanted to be there. By the way, this is a scene that cuts back and forth between Ash and Eiji, where Ash is dealing with his world and Eiji is contemplating going back to his, just to end running back to Ash instead. Speaking of adaptational choices, the anime favors certain softness and emotional vulnerability over the manga's grittiness, which has some interesting results. Some things are consistent, like Eiji being framed as the one Ash longs for, but the anime art goes further with the intertwined ride, physically creating union while conveying their emotions. Stick his hand, damn it! Eiji himself is visually framed as a lie in Ash's life, which is also an anime addition. In the scene when Ash tells Eiji he wants him to stay with him, Eiji is positioned in a way that makes it look like the sun and its light is coming out of him.
見ろよ、日没だ。このゴミためも日没というわけだけはまあ見られるぜ。
So when Ash says that the sunset and the sunrise are the only thing we're seeing in the dump, the connection is right there, reinforced by the rainbow that appears in that moment.
そばにいてくれともう一度言わせたいのか。俺のそばから離れるな。僕は君のそばにいる。そばにいてくれ。
気分いいな。もう一回言ってよ。
With all that being said, as much as I like a lot of things the anime does with this shoe, and as much as I understand that the 80s brand of Extra was not gonna make it outside of the 80s, I don't think we can live in a world without an Ash and Eiji scene to the tune of an 80s power ballad. So allow me to leave you all with this.
必ず戻ってきてよ。待ってるから。ずっと。